Yo, yo, wait. I think the music's like a tits too loud. Hey, Shorty, what's going on? There we go. I think that's good. Yeah. It's funny, I keep my YouTube console open. It's really hard. Well, it shouldn't be, but it really is hard to get to my stream on YouTube. You go to your YouTube studio and it like takes you to the editing mode. It doesn't let you go straight into the chat. You have to go like your own channel. It's dumb. It's just dumb. That's all. So anyway, hello. Put my gloves on. It's a tradition. Not much. Just saw the post and came to support. Well, thanks for the support. I'm working on the quantum level tonight. You know? I have a drink that my daughter brought me because she didn't want it. It's called Aguas Frescas. And it looked like one of those drinks that'd be like really kind of plain, yucky. But then I was reading the ingredients, and the first ingredient's high fructose corn surreptitious. And yeah, it's a powerfully sweet. There's no caffeine in it, though, which is what's good. Hey, Rome, by the way, how are you? Hope you're doing well. All right. Been trying to back off caffeine. I'm not good at it. I really should do much less caffeine. Because I have elevated blood pressure. And caffeine does not help that. And I don't like comparatively to what some people drink or what I used to drink. I don't usually drink as much as that, but it's still not good. It's not bad, but for me, it makes my tinnitus worse. Oh, I don't have tinnitus. I'm okay. Just super racing mind with a million ideas this week. Are you going to start bullet journaling? I just started, totally unrelated to bullet journaling. There is a YouTuber streamer named Primegen. Developer that used to work at Netflix, very freaking talented. We can only dream as developers to be like him if we were streaming. And I just think he's pretty cool. That's all. It's funny because he doesn't do C# programming. He uses Vim. Not Vimlark, but VI improved. It's like a text-based editor. Doesn't use IDEs. And I think that's funny too, because he is a classic example of the type of developer I always talk about. Like the real engineers, not the motsy, like, yeah, I know code and I can do design, but like everything processing wise takes slower for me. I'm not a Wallaber. And Wallaber is just, he's very much in the scope of someone like Primegen or Primegen, whatever his name is. Or Nick Chopsis. These people that just freaking know stuff, man. I tried before, it didn't go well, but Composing explains things in a very doable way. You should look up the videos that talk about how bullet journals are bad. Mostly just too much thinking. I watched this, it was an article or a video or something about, well, I didn't watch it. I just saw the headline, but it's like, bullet journals are actually not good for you and they don't help you do anything better. But I think the reality is, if it works for you, it works for you. And that's totally fine. And if it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. I've tried so many times in my life to like learn like the getting things done method. And to, they have all those things where you get these apps to just unload all of your tasks into this app. Then all you got to do is get really good at organizing those tasks on the fly. Nope. Not gonna do it. It doesn't work for me. I'm not good at it. So, can I hide this? Let me see here. Hide something. I'm gonna pull up my screen because I'm gonna do some design today. Because I saw an opportunity to talk about a programming pattern that I don't use enough of, even if I would give someone a hard time about not using it. Let's see. Mostly mostly just too much time thinking about gardening ideas. Okay. So it'd be helpful as a planner for people with ADHD because no, but then it takes so much work. You've got to do work on it. You got to write all the time. That's the effort. You have to put effort. The whole thing with people with ADHD, unless you really like writing things down in journals, it is going to be the worst experience of your life. You have to take something and force yourself to document in a journal. And people with ADHD have different, manifestations of it. My son was just diagnosed, and I could tell a lot of the things that he was diagnosed with are similar to what I was like in school. But for him, he has a restricted processing power, especially because he's got dyslexia. And so what that means is he's very, very bright, but he's slowed down by processing of reading and writing and sometimes auditory. And so because he's so bright, though, it conflicts. Like, he should be able to move quickly, but he can't take the information in as quickly as he needs to. And that leads to a whole lot of frustration for him. How do I hide this stupid bar here? I swear there's a way to just hide the bar that shows at the top of your screen. There's nothing really super secret there. I just don't want it to be showing right now. Because it has a couple of... Okay, you know what? Doesn't matter. There's nothing important there. I was just trying to make it cleaner looking. Fine. That part is less ideal, but figure my attempt to be more minimal and just be a spot for certain things. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I'll probably fail at it. Well, as long as you know what the outcome might be, you can be prepared. What I would say is, if you are a type of person that can remember where your journal is, by the way, Composey loses her journal all the time, and she asks me where it is, and I don't keep track of your stuff. I'm sorry. It's not because I don't want to. It's because I have plenty of my own stuff to keep track of, so I just don't know where your things are. And she has 1 billion journals. She's got her music journals, and she's got older versions of her journals. And I'll be like, here's your journal that you think you lost. She goes, no, that's the old one. Oh, okay. All right. And here's another one. No, that's the whatever journal. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't remember where your journals are, you're kind of in trouble. So anyway, I like digital. I'm all about the digital world. What I want is someone to take ChatGPT AI stuff and give me a digital brain where I can just feed it information and ask it questions, and it will feed it back to me. Wow, that was vigorous. There's no caffeine in this, I swear. Maybe there is. What if there's caffeine and they said there wasn't? No. Nope. It could be a whatchamacallit effect, where a placebo effect. Just the fact that I'm drinking a flavored drink gets me all wired up. I mean, it's got sugar in it. After losing the journal is a concern, but your house isn't very big. You don't have 3 different floors to lose it on. There's only so many places it could go, right? Unless it goes in the toilet, then it's going to be compost, right? Okay, so what are we doing tonight besides talking to Rome about bullet journaling? This is a good segue into documentation, which is a thing I should do more of. But when you're a 2-person team and you're the only developer, documentation tends to not end up on the list very highly. So I'm actually going to do this more as a teachable moment, because in my brain, I think I know what I'm going to do. But I want to be able to like show, because sometimes it also helps me brain away what I'm trying to accomplish. So we'll see if this actually ends up working. Game console design, I'm going to call it. I'm not sharing my screen yet because I'm just setting things up right now. So it's really not important yet. Anyway, so I'm working on implementing a game console where you have a little pop-up. I'll show it in a second. But essentially, our publisher has a QA team, and they want to be able to do like cheat commands, cheat codes, and stuff like that, which make perfect sense. And I'd love to have an in-game cheat code system too. So that's what we're gonna make. No, it will not be available to the standard consumer, and or unless there's some compelling reason for me to do that. And the compelling reason would be everyone just starts clamoring for it. Just, I'll buy your game if you have an in-game console I can use to hack the crud out of everything. I'd be like, fine, we can do that. I like money. Game dev does not make a lot of money, so anything that results in making more money from game dev is good for indie devs. I suppose the trade-off is if you just do something for money, the quality of what you do is probably going to be low. Not always, but you know, like if it's just about money, you're not seeking the greater experience of creativity or some crud like that. It's called an untitled diagram. Oops, I should have called it something else. Can I rename this thing? Rename it to console design. Debug console. There you go. I got what? Said not a David. What? How's it not a diagram? Publish it and see. So, I was starting to say in the very beginning that I keep this YouTube chat open, but no one ever chats in it, which is fine. I'm not doing any of the things that, you know, experienced practitioners of streaming and content creation would do. You know, like change your materials until you find something people will actually watch. It's an alivegram. It's live. Yeah, there's no deadagrams here. Okay. All right. I think we're ready. Let me go to my my work account. Sorry for the bright screen, but the thing I use to make dark mode doesn't work very well on the diagram tool. So we're gonna all get a little bit of a tan from the bright screen. You know, don't look directly at the light or you will go blind. Unless you're like me and you have... Actually, I don't even like looking at the type of screen. It really hurts my eyes. Ever since I went to dark mode, I'm like, wow, how did I ever not do dark mode? Okay, what are we doing? We are doing an in-game console. I'll show it to you. Let's take a look. This is gonna be the mode. This is gonna be the part of my stream where I try to talk about something. Get a little tan from it. I try to talk about things that are somewhat succinct. That perhaps someday I might cut my videos into little bits and pieces, where I could, you know, distribute content. If I was a good content creator, things I would do are, you know, take a segment of my stream and turn it into something. However, I'm going to practice by just doing a teachable moment and then forgetting about it, and then someday, hopefully, it'll be useful to somebody. So first off, let's show you the console. Boom! Isn't that so pretty? I made it. I used this tool called Quantum Console in the description of this stream and on my YouTube video. I actually have the link to the Quantum Console. Pay no attention to the fact that there's a finger down here. The whole reason we're doing design is specifically because of the problem I created by trying to introduce this into my system. But essentially, it's an in-game console, and the tool's called Quantum Console. It is an asset. Right now, it's on sale 50%. The developer is really helpful. The tool's pretty cool. It not only can show things like debug messages, but you can have your own commands. So eventually, we'll have, I'll have like cheat codes and stuff. No one is going to get access to this in the beginning. Someday, maybe, but not right now. But I am going to show the process of creating it. So here's the problem. Why is this not working? I want to define the scope of the issue. Well, with all the UI stuff I had to hook into my system, and the way I designed my UI, trying to introduce somebody else's UI components actually resulted in me breaking stuff. Well, not really breaking stuff. It just resulted in it not working, right? So like I can make this console show up and hide, but I can't use the console. And part of the problem is that I created this system where I have this thing called a UI manager, and the UI manager keeps track of windows. Now, in my mind, when I first created this, I'm not saying that my design is perfect, but I figured I would create a structure in which anything that was interactable, as in a UI, would be required to live inside something called a window. The window doesn't have to have a pretty design. It's essentially a fancy container that has an open and a close, and maybe sometimes a way to animate the opening and closing. But it was a way to create a solid structure so that if a window popped up, I could essentially push it into the stack and say, stack is just a list of things, right? But if the more you know, a stack is first in, first out. So the first in, last out. The first thing you pushed in is the last thing to come out of the stack. Imagine you like stacking things up, and then you take the thing off the top, take it off, right? So that works like the most real world thing you can imagine, right? You think of a stack as any stack of things in the real world, a stack of plates. You stack plates up, you don't take the bottom plate off, you take the top plate off, right? That's how a stack works. A queue, incidentally, is another data structure, which is first in, first out. So the first thing you put in is the first thing that comes out. That's more like a napkin dispenser or something, right? You take a stack of napkins and you shove it into the dispenser. Well, the ones that come out the bottom, at least, are like analogies are great. Like a paper towel dispenser with the little like square rectangle ones. And when you put it in there, the thing that you're pulling out is theoretically the first thing that went in, right? Because usually you put it in from the top. Totally tangential and not important. Window stack works like that. We push things into the stack, and when something gets pushed in the stack, my system says, okay, the last thing that was pushed in is the window that is currently active. Nothing else can do anything. And I had to do this because Unity has some weird layering things with how their different interactions work. And I know that they kind of intentionally made it so you could like click on something that's outside of the main window. But for this game, I did not want that. It was too heckin' annoying to deal with. So like, you know what? If the window's open and it has taken focus, that window has focus. Nothing else can do anything until that window gives up its focus. And then as you give up focus, it gives it up in the order in which things were added, right? So you pop things off the stack, the next window gets its focus back, and so on and so forth. So you can have like, navigate. That's how the game works, right? You click on a menu item, another window opens. Now that window has focus, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Problem is, all of this is dependent upon this thing called an abstract window, which of course, upon reflecting on this, maybe I needed a different type of object that could have been used besides an abstract window. Abstract just means it's the idea of a window. It's not an existing window. It doesn't exist, right? And it can't exist in the game without being implemented as something. So something has to essentially implement abstract window. Something has to say, I am an abstract window, but I'm not the abstract. I'm not the idea. What's another good analogy? Like Adam and Eve. They don't exist. But Adam is like the abstract man, and Eve is the abstract woman. I know we have binary discussions and binary gender. Go with me on this because I'm not really talking about binary and non-binary and fluidity. I'm just conceptually talking about if you have a representation of something and how you like a dog, right? Maybe I should just not use humans. A dog is an abstract animal of some sort, right? It doesn't exist, dog, as a concept. But an implementation of a dog is Rome's dog named Trooper, right? So, okay, I'm done there. Anyway, so without getting into all the guts of how my system works, essentially, I'm having to fight with my UI manager to give my console access to do things with the UI, which is very obnoxious and annoying. And so what I need to do, I think, is figure out an intelligent way, or at least semi-intelligent, maybe like just average, normal, intelligent way to get this new completely separate vendor console to work within my system. And when I first started, I was like, oh, I'll just, use their console. But there's a problem with this. There's an ordering problem. There's a situation with they do one thing and I want to do another thing, but their thing happens before my thing does, and it just doesn't work properly. And I'll show you here. I have this awake method. You can see here I try to do this. I try to basically nab their console, hook into their events. Like when you activate the console, when the console shows up. And what I try to do is like, okay, well, I'll just suspend all action from my manager. Doesn't work. Why? Because this doesn't get called until after this thing does something that makes it so everything won't work. It's just so annoying. Now, I could further try to like jerry-rig it or something, or I could follow a practice that's probably more logical, which is this. There's this principles called solid principles. I'm not going to go too deep into that. But there's, I think it's interface segregation and dependency inversion. Let me see what's a good one to go after. I want to talk about one of the principles, solid principles. All right. So let's talk about solid real quick. Let's talk about solid, baby. Oh, this is dumb. What is that? The book? I don't want to go to the book. Here. Hey, Killboy, how's it going? Okay, so the Liskov substitution, interface segregation, dependency inversion. All these have very similar concepts. So, for instance, object superclass should be replaceable by objects of subclass without breaking the system. So you want to be able to design a system where you can take something that is either the parent or the child and swap them out, and everything still continues to work. You also want to be able to make your interfaces not be dependent upon each other, because otherwise, the more dependency you make, the more brittle your system is. And when we say interface, we're not talking about the implementation of something. We're talking about the concept, the contract that defines something. And then dependency inversion. You don't want to have, again, all these three are very similar. The one that really hits home is that you want to depend on abstractions, not concretions. It's really kind of what inversion is, but dependency injection, interface segregation, all these things have a lot of component similarity with them. So just bear with me. I'm not giving the actual in-depth, here's how all these theories work. I refer to solid principles because there's components to it that fit into solving problems. There's plenty of other things besides solid to focus on. But essentially, I'm using a concretion. This is a concrete object of some sort called quantum contour. It's not abstract. It exists. It's like an existing thing, right? That has been fully defined. But what I think I want is something that is abstract as a console, because then it doesn't matter if it's a quantum console or a blah 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 console. I can have any kind of console as long as it implements my interface or my abstract class. I can use it. And so I'm going to do a quick little exercise where I didn't prepare for this, obviously, but I'm going to think through the design and then see if I can take what I think of as a design and implement it into a console solution. I mean, we already know the console pops up and shows, but what I effectively need to do is find a way to not tie my console tightly into this and instead use the modular nature of Unity and their kind of equivalent to dependency injection, which it's their component model, which is not exactly dependency injection, but in a way it is, because every game object can have essentially any components you want defined for their usage. So I'm going to do this and theoretically, possibly, maybe, probably, I don't know, figure out how to make it so I can essentially have an abstract window that will open my console and therefore give that console focus. There you go. That's my story. So here's how we're going to talk about the design. Let's talk about design, baby. We're going to have... Oh, look at that. So we have our UI manager. This is that object that sits over all of the other objects. We also have an abstract window, and I think we're going to use abstract window as our main thing that we're messing with. So an abstract window is abstract, so we need to make sure that the line looks like this. We're going to put dots around, right? So this kind of implies it's ethereal as opposed to a concretion. I'm not using UML diagramming. I'm trying to, when it comes to diagramming, I think the best thing to do is make something that generally can explain what you're trying to explain without it being too confusing or complicated. It's not always easy to do. So we have abstract windows. So UI manager basically hooks, it uses abstract windows. It's how it decides whether something shows or hides, right? Or something has focus. So somehow what I need to do is I need to get from abstract window to quantum console. And the one problem I have is I shouldn't mess with quantum console because the open close principle, by the way, of solid is that it should be open to extension or whatever, but closed to modification. So I shouldn't go in and change anything of quantum console. Even though technically I have the source code, I could go into this class and I could change something in that class. I could add one thing and all of a sudden I solved my problem. It's not a reliable way to solve this problem because should the developer of this ever update the quantum console, it will blow away everything that I did. So it would only be a band-aid solution. It wouldn't solve the problem that I'm trying to solve. So I need to somehow get this wrapped into this. Now the problem is I can't fit this console. I should have made it like round so it's clear, like here it's a round peg in a square hole, right? It's quantum. It's a theory. It doesn't even exist in the real world. So I can't fit a round peg in a square hole, right? It doesn't fit. So somehow I have to get this encapsulated into something else. So what I am thinking of is, first off, I need something that will extend abstract window. So what I'll probably do is make a console window, right? Which is just going to be another mono behavior scriptable object that represents a console window. Now, again, I can't fit the quantum console in there, but I can have the window have a quantum console. So this console window could have that. Now, the one problem is if I take I'm just testing things in oh, sounds great. UE5 is amazing. It's not like Unity or anything. So here's the problem, or here's the interesting design pattern thing. In gaming, this shouldn't matter. Honestly, I know I'm going to use quantum console. I don't think I'm going to swap out other consoles, but let's pretend. We're in the world of make-believe. Let's pretend for some weird reason, maybe someday I'm going to swap out this console for something else. You're working on a multiplayer RPG. Uh-oh. What? You're doing in C#? You're crazy. You're crazy, man. C++, I mean. You're crazy. So, the one thing, though, we know, or what we can know about this is Quantum Console might be part of a game object. Because this window could live inside the same game object, right? So, there's a fun little trick I can do here. We're going to even just remove the connection entirely. It's actually not too hard. I've heard that before. Wait a minute. If this is a game object and this is a game object, my UI manager already can handle this situation. So if I have like the overarching object here, which is just going to be like, can I move these to the top? There should be, actually, I don't like the fact that this is being treated like a, so we're going to send this to back. We're going to put this as the console object. This is a game object. So since we're using composition, the console object, oh my God, come on, please. Can you just do what I want you to do? Where is the setting for this? Put that to the right. There's a way to put it to the top. No. How is that not an option anymore? Line height. What does that do? It's funny, if I make it HTML, it moves up there. I don't want that though. I want it to be the right, and I want it to be at the top. Here we go. There. Okay. So it's just because it's easier to see. It doesn't really matter. All right. So this is a game object. These two actually have no association with one another. And in a way, I can kind of cheese this a little bit. So my thinking is this. When the player presses the key that opens the quantum console, I will make this also listen for the same key and trigger the UI manager to take control, or to have it take control. Because the other thing about the way this works, when the UI manager has a window that's open, oh my, what? Okay, hold on. Killboy is a golden god. Okay. Killboy, golden god? Maybe you're golden, I don't know. What the heck, man? 2,000 bits? Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to do about that. Go have a party, go retire. Let me go put you in the code. I can't put you in the quantum console code, but I can put you in my abstract window code, baby. You're going to go right into it. I'm going to shove you right into my code. So we're going to go into our code. But now that I think I know where I'm going with this, I'm going to, I'll put it in here, I guess. Console window. So we're going to make a console window. We're going to implement the abstract window whenever this decides to work. We're going to implement the missing files and members, and then we're going to put our golden god right into here. Today's date is the 23rd. What? It's 12/23/23? That's amazing. Thank you, Killboy, for the 2K bits. You are a golden god. I'm not going to worship any false idols, or American idols, or religious idols, for that matter. I'm not religious. Thanks, Killboy. Okay, so let's go back to what I was doing design-wise. Now, I'm talking from knowing how the system works, but you kind of have to go with me on this. What I've essentially designed here, using composition, not even using any sort of like, there's no necessary, there doesn't have to be any connection between a console window and a quantum console. None. They only live in the same neighborhood. But because the UI manager is keeping an eye on the console window, and it knows that once that console window takes control, it will give up control and let the console window do everything. I hope you stay up longer. Tires struck hard. That's fine. Go to sleep. Sleep well. Happy Holiday Junior. Holiday Junior. Right? Eve of the Holiday Junior. If you celebrate said holiday. Otherwise, some people might be in the midst of holiday. I don't know how that works. Anyway, bye, Rome. Have a good night. Okay, back to this. So what's interesting is when looking at a picture doesn't really like give you the concrete example. Let's go back to where our code lives, right? In here, in our UI, we have a quantum console object. Now, I will probably rename this because I don't really want it to be called quantum console. But in here, here's the quantum console script. So all I have to do, theoretically, is add my window to this same object. And when that window opens, it'll behave like any other window. So when the console window is open, if there is a child object that is contained within this game object, it will be considered part of that object. That's part of the focus. In theory. I haven't done it in practice yet. We'll find out. What IDE? I'm using Rider, but I was thinking of going to Vim. What do you think? JetBrains Rider is what I use. For C++, if you wanted to use IntelliJ products, you'd probably, or JetBrains products, you probably want to use C Lion. No clue. Writers for C#. I don't think they do C++ in Writer. Maybe they do. They might. There's also C Lion, which I don't know if that does C++. I'm not really sure, honestly. I don't know. I don't use Visual Studio, though, at all. Can't stand it. They even have a plugin for Unreal. Yeah, well, I mean, they make money selling subscriptions to their IDE. They dang well better support as many things as they possibly can, right? Okay, so essentially, I need to make a console. And I'm going to rename it from Quantum Console to Debug Console. More clear. And I'm going to put my own object in here, and I'm just going to make that behave like it should. Like a window. To the windows. To the walls. What is this? Oh, it's because my code is still not ready for prime time. Okay, it's gonna take a moment. So what in theory should happen then? On my design, I thought I was gonna create something a little bit more designy, but as I was braining through it, I realized just like how uncomplicated the problem needs to be. What's interesting about the way I'm solving this is I am effectively removing all the crap I just added, thinking I'd have to like inject the quantum console into my UI manager. But I'm actually keeping them completely separate. They really don't have any association with one another, and they shouldn't. And this is how you keep code componentized and less coupled. So we're gonna put a console window on here. Can I do that? Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess abstract window must implement mono behavior. Okay. So we put a console window which has some of the basic pieces in it. And so what we need to do then is when the escape key is pressed, we want to open the console window. Now, I think that the easiest way to do this is to Get rid of the initialize. We don't care about initialize right now. We're going to do public void. I guess it means that this would have to. We got one small problem. If I want to listen for an action, this would have to be enabled. I think the window is enabled though. Yes, it is. Okay, so it's actually fine. Okay. So in order for the console thing to work at all, it has to be enabled. We'll make ourselves an update method. And in the update method is where we'll check for whether the key was pressed. So this says back quote, but we don't really want back quote. First off, we're not going to do input get key down. What we're going to do is controller dot current. What do you want? Current UI actions. And then I actually don't know if I have a UI action for this. Let me just double check if I even have an escape key. Oh, we do, because escape key is a menu. So I have to actually change it from the escape key to the tilde key. Because we don't. The escape key in game is already used for opening up the menu in the game. So I'm gonna have to go do something here. So let's go into our configuration, into our game input, and we are going to add in the UI a console key, essentially. So do I want to make this based off of? Right click, track UI, let's see, navigate, submit. I guess I could just steal one of these things. Console. And then we will okay, I think this is going to recompile, so I'm going to have to like comment out this garbage. Do we want to do the tilde? No, backtick. Tick. Can I just make it listen? Okay. So it's this backtick key. And that's really all we want. We don't want to let this work for controllers because you still need to be able to type to use it anyway. So we just have one key for the console in the keyboard, in the UI, totally fine. We're going to save it. And I might have to press save asset. I'm not sure. I think I do. I mean, this is a really sugary drink, but I like it. And we do the usual wait for the script assemblies to come back here. So what I'll end up doing here is I'm going to use that tilde key. I'm going to have to put this here, and then I have to go into the configuration of Quantum and change the key that it uses for opening the console. I am working on a debug console. I guess you weren't here when I did the little intro to it. I'll show you. I think the code will run. So this is a command console called Quantum Console. And I need to make some debugger tools so that the QA testers will have ways to give their player more life, or get certain, get all items or certain items, or give themselves more gold. And while I could have made my own custom whatever, why don't I just get a console? It's just a very normalized way to make changes in the system. So I'm just trying to get this working essentially. But I was fighting originally with my current way of doing things in the system, and I needed to figure this out. So is pressed. Okay. So if the console is pressed and if it's open, we'll do yes. close base dot. How do I close? I forget how I do this in the. I guess there isn't. How is there not closed? Well, look at Killboy. You're just everywhere in my code. I guess I just do finalize close. Yeah. And the reason was because my main window does all this other stuff for opening and close, but I don't need that. We'll just say finalize close and finalize open. That's all we really need. So essentially what it'll do is it'll make this take ownership. One or two places. Yeah, like everywhere. I think I searched it up and it was like 20 places or something, right? And it would be more, except that there's times where you did like, bulk subscriptions or like gift subs. So it just like, you're in one spot. Okay, so is that all I need? You're all I need to get by. So now I need to figure out how the quantum console does its button presses. I don't know why I'm dancing so much, but my talk dance. So we're going to go into plugins, QSF. So this is the thing that has the quantum console and build automator, by the way. Pretty cool. Get rid of that. We don't need that. I really hope it doesn't recompile because I deleted a folder. It's kind of obnoxious. Okay. So here's quantum console. They have their prefabs in here, and they have their default key config. I wonder. I probably shouldn't change their prefab, right? I suppose I should be making my own key config. And then for toggle console, yeah, so they're using some weird way of doing this. But so I'm going to go into here. I'll go into my configuration. I guess I'll do a configuration for my console folder. Wait for Unity. My whole life been waiting for Unity. And then instead of calling it default key config, we'll call it custom key config. And then in here for the toggle console, we just have to figure out where the backtick is. What is the name? Back quote? Is that what that is? Maybe? And then we can go into our debug console, and I believe it has a spot in here where we say what the key config is. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So theoretically, we'll be able to make this work, perhaps. Does they have a localization thing? Funny. Okay, anyway, totally distracted. So we have theoretically a way that when we open the console, it will essentially take control. I guess I have to save this. What else do I need to do? Why is it? Let me see here. It's complaining about something. Why would that not be there? Current UI actions console. The console window is in source, so there's not editor only. UI actions. maybe I didn't recompile. Let's try recompiling it and see. I briefly started looking into the slow loading time. This again takes 15 seconds to recompile. And then I went back down the rabbit hole of, yeah, actually a lot of people have this problem, and no, there isn't an easy fix, and that makes me sad. Okay. Will my code work this time? Right. How is that not there? So maybe I missed something in my configuration. Try again. Do UI console. It's should be fine. It's in primary controls. The same controls scheme as everything else. Don't need to change it. What would cause it not to be? Actually, weird. It looks more like there's something else going on here. Because it can't resolve symbols. I wonder if it's fine. Because if it was erroring, I'd see the errors all in here. It says object reference not set to an instance object. Let me see. Resume. I don't even need this anymore. So we're going to just get rid of this entirely. Literally get rid of my code. If I have to rebuild later, whatever. Yeah, there's something weird on the writer side. Okay. So now I'm not doing anything special. I do need to get rid of this stupid suspend. Is suspended? Or do I? I don't like this idea. This notion that I could like suspend all action if I suspend it. I'm gonna leave that here. It's not. It shouldn't break anything, and then we'll see what happens. So anyway, my grand scheme of talking about making changes in the system will be it'll be better suited if this works, but in theory it'll work. I've taken a situation where I started taking some vendor product and putting it into my core code. Then I was like, wait a minute, this is composition based. I can just shove two things in the same place and based on their behaviors, make them produce the outcome I want. In theory. Still got to prove it, which this is where everything tends to fall off the rails. But we'll try to be optimistic. Okay. But don't think I need to make any more changes. And I didn't get any errors in the console, so writer's just being weird. See what happens. If I hit the escape key, oops, if I hit the tilde key, good. I got errors, and it still hasn't taken, okay. I would call this marginal progress, I suppose. What would it be? What would be going on here now? Interestingly, okay, so now we have, I mean, the console is showing, okay, there we go. So there's a race condition happening right now. That's fine. So, help! Now the console's working. It's not accepting mouse inputs, unfortunately, yet, but it, someday maybe. But it certainly is existing. It's not accepting mouse inputs. Oh, weird! I clicked and it like lost its focus. Stay focused, console. Okay. So what that means to me is there needs to be something, I believe, that waits appropriately before it takes focus. Why would that be? How am I not myself? It has to be the main window that's causing this battle. So it has to be the title screen UI control. So in here, there is an update method. If this is open, then it plays this intro video. This is like the loop of the video. Any key down, then it does this like menu act. Okay, so if any key down NN UI, actually this dot has UI menu, UI manager dot has focus this. So didn't I make this a UI window? Yeah, I made it. Can I make it? Can I ask if it's an abstract window? I probably could, right? Do we check if instance is not null and window is not null and current active window equals the window? I don't know if this is going to break some things. Let's try this. Should still work in theory. So if I do that, then I can go to the title screen. Here we go. I think my code, I think it'll actually just fix the code that I wrote, right? Let's see if it works. We'll compile it and find out. Do 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 do. Are they taking more seconds? This is lies so much. 17 seconds? No, that was clearly 22 seconds. But it compiled, so we know it's still working, kind of. So theoretically, maybe this will fix that, like, taking control situation. There you go. Boom. So, to bring it back full circle, ignore the fact that this weird crap happened. I gotta fix some bugs, right? But the fundamental thing I was trying to accomplish is, can I get the console to open and get focus without losing it? Well, I lost it, but without having to like rewrite a ton of code. The answer is yes. So you saw I kind of deleted some code I started adding. My UI manager effectively stays the same. I did some minor refactoring on it. I didn't even have to change the quantum console at all. Didn't have to hack into their code. All I had to do was add a version of my abstract window and tie into the same trigger to make sure when the console window opens, my window will open. And I have a working console with, you know, without having to make my system actually know what the heck a quantum console is. And that is composition, friends. Ship it. Well, don't ship it yet because this is so broken. But so now we got a couple of issues here, more than a couple. So first off, interestingly, now that it stopped working properly, we can see that the UI manager is not giving up focus. So let's first figure out what's going on with that. If we say, I think there might be a timing issue happening here. Oh, it's also open with focus. Is open. Do I have open with focus turned on? That's a good question. Find out. I don't remember why I did that. I think I had some way where you can open windows that didn't immediately have focus, so I could control the focus better. I might have defaulted that to false. Nope, open with focus is true. I don't think I need to upgrade the selectable. What does that do? Upgrade selectables. What does this thing do here? This was just so I could manage, I think, my special things that I was doing with selectables. Yep, I don't think that matters. Okay. So then let's go look at our UI manager. So when we have a focused item, is valid target. Let's see what this does here. So to be a valid target, there has to be an abstract window in the parent of the selected object. And it has to be a selectable object. So I wonder if their objects are selectable. I don't think they are. I think that's the problem. We're gonna look at quantum console. So I'm gonna be changing. There's some other things I need to change about my design, but it's just gonna be more permissive. We have this activate method, and there's this like override console input. And what it does is it says focus console input, and it does this select method on console input. Now, this select method is a selectable, so that's good. But I'll bet you that the second I click on something else, it deselects. It's no longer a selectable object. So I'm gonna be fairly certain that is the case, because I don't think every single object in their console is selectable. They have a button. They have a scroll bar. So we need to figure out how we want this to behave. I think what we do is I think we have to disable the auto focus capability. So right now I have this loop that will do this check for valid objects, and if it's not the right, like if it's not finding what it needs, it'll be like, okay, well, it's no longer valid. We need to fix it, essentially. So what I probably need to do here, just to keep my sanity, is allow something external to say, hey, you don't need. I gotta get rid of this too. You don't need to check this stuff. Don't worry about it. It's fine. What I need to do here is what? Okay, so if target does not equal null, I think we just need to disable this check entirely. Perhaps. Hey, you doing any gaming? Compute gam. Compute gam. Has your joke, your inside joke, morphed, Tom Sutton? You know, you were not here on the double, by the way. I was in trouble. I guess you also don't have a rhyming name like that. Like Sutton on the double doesn't work. It'd be like Sutton on the button, or Tom, I've got a... Well, anyway. You're becoming more abstract like your face. My daughter's all into your face jokes right now. I think it's great. But I have to pretend like she's being inappropriate. You shouldn't. She knows that I'm just pretending, though. Okay. So, public bool is autofocus enabled. So by default, we'll allow autofocus to be enabled. Go to the update method. If not suspended and autofocus enabled, right? And then we'll probably make a disable and enable method. I know I could just directly access this, but then I have to get the instance, and it's so annoying. So we'll make static methods for that, I think. Public static. Watch any of season 10 Paw Patrol yet? It dropped a few days ago. Probably not. I mean, like, my kids are all over the place. My daughter is really the only one, my youngest is the only one that watches Paw Patrol, but she goes through these phases. She's even stopped watching Blaze very much. So who knows? She might have just gotten over the edge of the Paw Patrol, Blaze, and the Monster Machines era. But if it comes up, I'll get her watching it. Now I'll be like, well, we gotta watch this now. Why? Because Tom Sutton, he did all of the animation. Everything you see in it is all Tom Sutton. Not a single person did any other animation. All Tom Sutton. Okay, so we'll go back to our console window. If it's going to be closed, then we're going to say UI manager dot enable autofocus and UI manager dot disable autofocus. So that should maybe, perhaps, possibly. We'll see. She's really into Nip Tuck right now. Yeah. My 3.5-year-old, very much into Nip Tuck. I mean, she is, she does act a bit like a kindergartner right now. Is a bit advanced for her age, but not that advanced. Okay, let's see what happens. I think I'm still going to be fighting with the back end here where like the other menu is trying to take control, but we'll find out. Okay. Help me, Tom Sutton. You're my only hope. Oops. So yeah, I think there's something else that forces that thing to come back. I think that's actually what happens. So there's a timer. I have to go stop that stupid timer from happening. Where is it? Here we go. So if the menu's not active, this sort of like auto fades in. I think there's something I put in here that like, yeah, fine lines open and stuff. Okay. I kind of want. Is there anything that does like I'm not even gonna mess with it. Screw it. If you're using the console at this point, you're already messing with stuff. You're already messing with powers you can't possibly comprehend. So, you know, YOLO. Actually, since I'm doing this twice, and it is so nice, I'm going to do here as focus. Refactor, reduce, reuse, and code the loop. Code. Anyway, Tom Sutton, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. When you guys release a series, do you get like time off, or do you just roll right into the next one? This pup's gotta fly and animate. Man, all those catchphrases must get really annoying. Funny enough, I don't think there's a lot of shows my kids watch where I'm like, oh my gosh. You know how there's parents like, oh, I can't believe they're watching this stuff, and they get really like completely sick of them. I don't really feel that way about their shows. I mean, I don't watch them all the time, but like they don't grate on me. Maybe this is because I like cartoons. You tune them out. Yeah, like it doesn't really bother me. Some people get really like nails on the chalkboard bothered by it. Okay, let's see how we go. Got this working. No menu shows. Good, good, good. We can't still can't use our mouse. That's a problem, but we'll figure that out. But look at all the things we can do. Except we can't look at all the things because the mouse isn't working, which is a problem. Why is the mouse not working? I want the mouse to work. I think it's because I didn't put mouse controls in the UI, perhaps. Lately, we've been trying really hard to level up Paw Patrol to be a flagship of family entertainment. Oh, so you guys are trying to make Zuma more popular. I like that. The least popular dog of all of them. The one with the least showtime. Unless you make it a spaceship or a flying ship. What was I doing? Console, debug console. Okay. There's something goofy with the mouse. Why is the mouse not working? I feel like the mouse should work. Key. What is my key config saying? UI, zoom in and out. Mouse 0, drag console. I can't even drag the console. What else? Autocomplete. So why would mouse input actions not work? That is the question. Is it a setting, or is it something with my system? Because I have the console at the very bottom. So it feels like the raycast should still trigger. Maybe I need to say maybe the canvas needs to block raycast. Indeed. So are you like instrumental in that? Like, are you in the meetings where you guys are discussing this and you're like, here's what I think you should do, and you're like all businessy, like wearing a business suit? Do you have to physically go into an office, or do you do all your work remote? Close on submit. Auto scroll on invoke. Intercept. Logging level. Command history. That's fine. Okay, so there's really nothing in here that talks about... Oh, they have something called UI panels as well. That's cute. So what would stop the mouse? from triggering. What would it could be because I have the okay, hold on. There might be one problem here, which is that the canvas or the bounds of this is not being interpreted properly. So we have canvas scaler that's set up 960 by 540. And we have their blur shader 960 by 540, 960 by 540. Console window, that's my script. It also has a canvas scaler. Okay. So that should, theoretically, that should pick up on clicks. I wonder if there's something blocking. Where's my window? Wait a minute. Where'd you go? Oh, here. I'm here. What? Did I lose my scene? Where did my scene go? Where is my stuff? Oh, hold on. I gotta make this show. If I make it show, it'll appear somewhere. All right. Do we see anything between... No? There's nothing layered on here. I'm really confused now. It either means that clicks are not being intercepted or something is blocking the clicks. Ignore reverse graphics, blocking objects. I don't know how blocking mask works. Does this mean that this is like, it blocks everything? Or does it mean anything can block it? Probably the other way, right? Now, there could also be a problem that my console window script might be affecting it. Let's take a look at this in 2D mode. The console. Missing a sprite, but I don't think that should affect the clickability of it. For the UI controls. No. Okay, what about this guy? Interactable, sure. On click, okay. Runtime only. So it does have an on click. What would, okay. Maybe there's another issue here about the canvas order in layer. Sorting layer. No, I think I need to make it, I need to give it a layer. I think it has to be a different. What is in the UI layer? Okay. Right, because I put it in the UI, right? Yeah. Ah, cool. You had a cupboard door fall off. When you said that, I thought you were going to say it fell off on you. But, you know, the place is just falling apart. It's like when you get older, Tom, things just start falling off, you know? So I did change the order in the layer. I thought this would make it have... This is the UI camera. I might have to put the UI camera below this. Probably why to do. I don't know why that would affect clicking though. Clicking, that's all I'm hearing. Okay. I don't need a sorting layer. I'm leading the animation department and basically captain. Ooh, Captain Sutton. So you're writer. Incidentally, I use a IDE called Writer. And we have a couple coaches in the director. What does a coach do? Is a coach a person that they don't actually do any work? They just tell other people to do things? All right. So what is going on here? Those are all the same. Order and layer. Oh no, screen effects is the same thing. Okay, let's just like go insane here and just make it like 1,000. We're gonna make this like as close to the camera as we possibly can. I mean, maybe there's something else that's closer to the camera. I just spit. That was gross. Animation supervisors assign shots, work with other departments, give review notes. Put me in the game, coach. So interesting to me. When you see oh. So now the menu will never come up, apparently. That's unfortunate. When you see like a completed show, it's really, people don't understand how many people it takes, like a movie, a show, whatever, to actually produce it. It's not like one person did all the graphics and then they animated it all. It's like a whole teams of people that had to put it all together. My clickings are still not working. Okay. What is being clicked? That's what I want to know. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me, Tom Sutton. There's the UI camera. Yeah. That's good. What's over here? Should we go on a little journey? That's how far it looks. Maybe I went the wrong direction with putting that as 1,000. Because here's the... Oh, wait. Where is the camera? What? Yeah, the camera's right here. So let me go back to the debug console. If I change this to like 100, that doesn't do anything. There's a different setting. Plane distance. I could put it closer this way. Does that make it more clickable? Tired of these planes on a plane. How did they do that? It was really close. You can't tell the difference. Pause 180. Oh my god. They must make some good money off of that, though. Jeez. So there's plane distance. If I block everything, just literally block everything. Wallaber, you're the perfect person to show up and tell me why my mouse isn't working. I don't need ChatGPT. I just need Chat Wallaber T. My click keys are not clicking, but it has its own built-in like clickiness. So I feel like it's either a controller thing, like a control thing, or you know, something else. Of course, also is a little borkified. I suppose one of the problems here is I can't check if it has focus. Because it won't have focus until the menu shows up. Right? Yeah. Lel. So basically, I'm having this issue where I can use the console, but it doesn't appear to be triggering clicks. So I either need to find out. I need to find out what is intercepting a click. I suppose I could do it in two different ways. One way I could literally just add into their thing. What was that thinking? Something? I don't know what that something was. I don't know, question mark? Suppose he heard some thumping of some sort. Okay, so one problem is that this menu isn't considered focus until it fades in. It doesn't really solve my problem other than the fact that the menu wasn't showing up. Although, what might be interesting about this... Did I already rebuild? Okay. I wonder if the mouse controls are disabled until something takes focus. That might be the case. So we have this now. If I do this, no, still not working. So like, in fact, now it's not even like working because once I click somewhere else, oh, it didn't take away. Weird. Help, Wallaber. No command with Wallaber was found. Gotta add Wallaber as a command. Well, I'll have something that like actually opens up Discord and sends Wallaber a question. It's like ChatGPT, but slower. Not because Wallaber is slow, just because he has to like actually take the message, you know? Wallaber GPT. But I can't scroll. So nothing from the mouse interactions work. Which means I must have mouse interactions disabled. Yeah, we got all the mouse actions here. We have UI actions here. Mouse click, left mouse. Oh, true. If I click on it, it would tell me what it clicked on, right? So that's cute. Why is it still showing? Okay. So if I click on something, like I click on the close button, I go to the event system, it says continue select is what is clicked on. Now it says input field, which is this object. If I click on anything else, nothing happens. So we do know that this field is saying clicked. We don't know why. Tell me why these actions are not being interpreted. I mean, these are very clear buttons. No, I can't click on the input field, actually. The debug thingy... This is the debug console, right? So what I started my stream with was talking about how I was going to make their system work within my system so I could make something take focus, right? Which I figured that out. And this is called Quantum Console. So this is their console thing here, which is enabled, you know? It's enable to always. I don't think that's going to make any difference though. So it gets initialized on startup. Focus on activate, which is what it does. Close on submit, sure. Well, wait. Did you see that? It actually clicked for a second. Something is stealing the mouse action back. Verbose errors, auto scroll. This just how it does other things. There's just searching options here. Yeah, so it's not really any other like UI based things. But I find it interesting that when I click away, it does intercept the action, which tells me something. Something else is attempting to steal the click, I guess. What would be stealing the click? Delayed select. Pointer cursor. Oh. I don't think this is actually being triggered though. But there is, hold on. Does the cursor? Pointer cursor. That's in the menu controller though. That's not even in the UI controller. So let's see here. There might be something that is like futzing with the cursor. What else calls place cursor? No, that's just cursor container. I guess I could put some debug statements on these things. I'm a little curious if this place cursor thing is doing something interesting. It seems it would be a little weird because we would see the pointer, like if I clicked on the button, the cursor would like go to it if that's the case. But there's something here that makes me suspicious that there's some other thing in the scene that's fighting with my interaction. But only with the mouse. What would have a mouse click on it? Mouse last selected. It's a UI controller. Dismiss overlay. I don't think I even used that. Scroll view helper. I don't think I use any of these things right now. These things shouldn't even be active. Gaming, baby. I did a rebuild, yeah? Okay. I forget what I changed now. What was I doing? Whatever. Doesn't matter. So if I click a button, no. Weird that it'll work sometimes. What would make it work sometimes, but not every time? What is it fighting with to get the clicks to work? I don't think it's any of this. This is like the old logic. Mouse click. No, mouse down. No. On mouse. Mouse cursor manager. I don't think I even used that thing. Oh, did I? Hold on a second. Mouse movement performed. Hide cursor. Oh, that's the thing that makes the this isn't active in the editor though. That wouldn't affect it. Well, let's go to the entire source. Yeah, it does have a graphic raycaster. That's what I was looking at first. But then I realized I didn't know how to interpret it. So it has like blocking objects and blocking mask. Maybe I just do UI. Well, actually, I think I copy and pasted other things I already had. Let me see. I had like main menu, locking mask. They didn't do everything. Hey, Dave. Yeah, blocking objects is none. Maybe. So I have blocking objects as none. Do you know the answer, Dave? I assume blocking mask means what I'm saying is it'll block everything. When the console's showing, it should block everything, right? Whoa, wait, what? Dave H gifted tier 1 sub. Oh no, Tom Sutton! Thanks, Dave. I'm gonna put you in my code. Where am I gonna put you? Put you in the console window. 2020. Wait. 12, 23, 23. 8 for gifting. You are a champ. What? Why? Because that's what I do. Someone gifts subs or someone subs and they get that. Okay. And mask UI includes UI layer. Yeah. My mask does include the UI layer. Correct. I suppose I could just make it be the UI layer, but it doesn't. I don't know if that will change anything. All I want for Christmas is a good dad joke. I entered my Chihuahua in the ugliest dog contest and I won first place. The dog came third. Wow, that's rough. All right. So we have our mouse. We don't have any special mouse actions. The fact that the click works should be indicative of some potential reason for the issue. Does click act the same as a submit? I don't think I have any actions on my window. The other option could be Oh well, maybe next Christmas. I'm sorry, y'all. Hickman here. How hope you're doing well. Happy soon to be Christmas time. Here's another one. Did you hear about the chameleon who couldn't change color? He had erectile dysfunction. Kind of. Kind of sad. My mom always said I loved the alphabet soup growing up, but really it was just him. It was just him putting words in my mouth. My mom always said I loved alphabet soup. It was just her putting words in my mouth. Probably her. There's just a typo or something. Where did Noah keep his bees? In his archives. Okay, so we have this. Okay, focus console input. So this is the console input. Text Mesh Pro input field, which is a selectable and has all these other fancy things to it. We go into their code. They have it's a quantum key config. Key code mouse 0. So I'm pretty sure they're still using like the old input system. I'd guess. I like the last one. Thank you for that. No problem. It looks a bit like they're using the old input system. But they don't, well, they are for their like key codes, but they have selectable objects on their UI. But that's a selectable object. Like, this calls invoke command, or where's the close button? Deactivate. All right, have a good night, y'all. Hickman here. It's late indeed. Have a great holiday. I hope you are well. What kind of bees make milk? Boo. No, that's not. What did the ghost say to the bees? Boo, bees. Like scaring the bees. I kind of wonder if those clicks are being intercepted or not. Where would that be at? In the quantum console. Deactivates. Start the debugger. You can just add some code. It is something weird that's going on. Because it is, if it works intermittently, it means that there must be something that's fighting for priority in the click. If it works on every click, then what does that mean? Because I'm not pressing the tilde. Oliver's not streaming tonight? Does Oliver stream on Saturdays? No. No, he doesn't. Okay. Oliver should stream every night. I was telling Wallaber before I started streaming tonight, like I'm not envious. I just think Wallaber is pretty amazing at his ability to focus and solve problems. Because if Wallaber were in my place, he'd be like, okay, here's all this wealth of knowledge I have, so I can really dig into exactly what the problem is here. I get stuck on the stupidest thing, people. He'd be like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to just do that. Okay, so it is not interpreting the close click. If I go to the event system, it's going to say this is still, but that means something's blocking the raycast. Something I'm trying to click on, like I'm trying to click on this, but something else is interpreting the click. Which is also why the scroll isn't working. Now, that's a good question. The event system should be showing you what raycast is seeing. It is it should be, but it's not. Well, then if that's the case, it's not even picking up on raycast. Is there more than one event system? How am I not myself? It's still the input system there. Let's see. Nope. There's the one event system. If that's the kind of jokes you're bringing to Paw Patrol, there's no way it'll fail. Yeah. Tom's gonna milk his jokes for all they're worth. How did you put milk in the joke? What is this? Did I do that? No, this is their thing. Okay. So it's very interesting. The other thing that I would say that might be happening is it's clear that when this interprets the click, it then re-establishes the action to this, right? So why would it? Also, interestingly, I wonder if like my attempt to add this didn't get interpreted because it's in the plugin. I mean, like it even showed that it clicked. See? Look at that. It's clearly getting a click, but it's not triggering an action. What would cause that? I mean, this is literally interpreting a click. It's happening right there. But it's not closing the command console. Do I have more than one of these consoles in here, maybe? Did I somehow... No? Was it like... I don't remember what it was. What is the letter you put here? Is it C or it's not C? Always the letter I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't exist anywhere else. So it's here. Can't be the ordering of these. Yeah, it's fine. I figured it. I mean, it worked for whatever I put in there. Okay. So, what would cause this behavior? I click on the close button. The action doesn't happen. What if that means it would work for the scroll? Yeah, look at this. Look at this. There's something. Look at this. It starts to scroll, and then it like forces itself back down. What's going on? It's like something is aggressively stopping it from doing whatever it needs to do. Yeah, something's messing with input on each frame. I had the mouse move thing, but I still don't think that would be... I don't think that's associated with it. Because the only thing that had, like, there's this mouse cursor manager that has on mouse moved, but this is literally only as part of... I don't know if this is used somewhere, is it? Delayed startup. Hey, Warner. How are you doing is what I want to know. No more streaming, huh? I think you said that before. What are you working on? I'm working on a debug console. But right now I'm having an issue where the mouse actions are somehow getting... Something's happening in between when the action occurs. I just saw your verified flag there, but yeah, you said you weren't doing that anymore. I hope you're doing well though. There's something that is in the frame of, action occurring. It's messing with this. I don't think it's the cursor manager because it only happens on start. But I guess I could just do that. Get rid of that and see if that was causing it. Hopefully I'll resume next year. I need to build a community for a prototype. Right, did you mention that last time that you worked on a prototype? I can't always keep track of who sends things. Do you share your prototypes or do you keep them under wraps? That's the real question. I like the game or creative industry because the likelihood someone's going to steal your idea and implement it, it's so low. Unless you're a AAA studio and, your IP is so critical that someone really is going to go and steal whatever you did. But no one wants to do your idea. No one wants to build your idea. They want to build their idea. Let's see if this works. I share the music. I'm not one of those devs who have the fear of people stealing. Yeah, I had to get over that because, I was like, oh wow, what if you had this idea? People will love this thing. Oh, that's weird. Let's just see if this solves my problem. Same issue. I do have this never-ending placing cursor on continue select though. Okay, so that doesn't do anything. This is not relevant to the problem. What did I do? Did you want to share? I mean, did you share what you're working on? I don't remember. You might have said it's not ready for sharing yet or something, which is also valid. This is fine because that's just console. I think you did. I don't think you did. I think you popped in earlier and last time and you're like, oh, gotta go. You had to go to a meeting because you're in a different time zone than me. Okay, so I think you're right, Walliver. Something is causing mouse input, especially, not text input, just mouse input. How am I going to find this? How am I going to find this thing that is messing with mouse input? Let me go look at my... What's we got here? Wouldn't be that. It had to be the UI manager, right? I could just turn off the mouse cursor manager. Doesn't solve the problem. I could turn off the UI manager. Stop that from working. Doesn't stop it. Okay. It would almost make me think it's actually an issue with turn off the main menu. Battle menu. Sure. We'll just turn all the things off. Whoa, what? Okay. Not giving me it. Turn off the title screen? Sure. YOLO. How many things can I turn off? Atichi! How are you doing? It's a 2D side scroller with fighting mechanics. Did you share it? Gosh. I mean, you know, feel free to share it again. If you got any clips or videos or pictures, how are you, Atichi? I don't know why my voice suddenly became very high-pitched. You know, interestingly, it's almost indicating that the actual problem is with this console. We need the resolution system. Overlay, we don't need. Funny, but still not fixing anything. Screen effects, we don't need. UI setup, I don't even remember what that is about. So I've basically commented out as many things as I possibly can, or turned off. None of those things. It's either something with the actual console, or there's something else messing with the mouse. Like something core to the input system. I've literally turned off like anything I can. I'm doing all right. Trying to get a console to work, and the mouse input seems forked. Wait, oh, that worked. That's cool. And enhance. Get bigger. Isn't that okay? Do you see what it's doing? It's like moving the mouse to a different location. So there's also, okay, I wonder if the real problem is my making this fit within this resolution. Because when I added this console, I made the rect transform fit, because it's it's a different screen resolution, right? So I wonder if I have to do 1080 by 1920 by, what is it? Can't remember what it had as its default. So look at the prefab. Wait, I don't remember if I've seen your game. Can you show it in a bit? Oh, absolutely. I'll show it right now. I'll just turn off this nonsense that I'm messing with right now. And I'll show it to you. I'll show you guys the battle system that I've been working on forever. Which is mostly working now. Now I'm working on the... And here's the game also on Steam, by the way. So this is Alterium Shift, retro-inspired JRPG. Look at all the stuff happening. People running around. Monsters being monstery. Fighters being fightery. This is because I haven't actually added a description of the... These characters don't show up in this area, but I was testing things. So, like, this is the revised view of the battle system with the characters at the bottom. You can't tell very well. Oh, you can't tell right now because the characters are... they didn't show their animations. But if I, like, attack... Now, apparently, the hermit is hurt. You see how, like, Dolian's closing his eyes? Clearly, the weak animations are not. They're not weak enough. We got to make them more weak. Also, apparently, there's some issue with the. This is the stuff I'm testing for battles. This isn't how the real battle works. Oh, look, we got a miss animation. That's cute. Miss. How are you missing? Hit that dog. Dang it. No, I do not. My development partner does the art and story and marketing. Anything that looks pretty is his responsibility. I mean, I do like UI stuff. So like I made the revised game UI. The original UI came from an engine called Smile Game Builder. Like I do all the under the hood. So this is the revised UI that I did in October timeframe, I think October-ish. It took a bit. Like I made the bestiary, which again it still has like a little bit. I have to fix this thing here, and we probably need to fix some better like naming conventions. I made the revised saving and loading system. We have localization. Why is that still doing that? That's dumb. We have localization and other things. Thank you, Warner. I appreciate this, especially knowing your background and your history. I definitely appreciate that. How long have we been working on it? Well, this is the end of our 3rd year. When we first launched the game, when we first started working on the game, we had planned to release it at the end of 2022. Because me and my buddy, we haven't done an official full game yet. But it kept picking up steam. So then we had to move the date for launch to the end of 2023. Now we're at the end of 2023 and we're still working on it. Partly that's because we decided to do an early access launch. And as part of early access, we learned a ton. So there are things about the game now that we may not have planned to do. But because of what we learned in early access, we've done. Certainly there are things that I completely revised. Like I wasn't going to spend this much time on the inventory and all the different UI stuff, but it was clearly needed, right? And so we've been like iterating and revising over time. So now we're into 2024 for a launch. That's pretty good. RPGs take a long time to develop. Yeah, it does. It does a lot. It looks nice. Thank you, Warner. Appreciate it. There are plenty of bugs, and sometimes people just aren't happy with what we do. We try our best. But yeah, I mean, it's right now we have about 50% of the game content done. The battle system was the last like massive major piece of functionality that I needed to revise. The old battle system is fine, but we had a Japanese reviewer put it as succinctly as you could probably put it, which goes like this: the battle system's fine, but it's more like light soy sauce. Oh, I guess my checkbox doesn't turn it off now. It's like light soy sauce. so our battle system is just doesn't really move the needle. Light soy sauce is what the Japanese reviewer said. And I kind of agree with them. Like our battle system was never, I mean, it was the Smile Game Builder battle system. So I've been, low sodium, I guess, healthier. So this is in effect, like I even added this UI to make the UI a little bit better. You basically called it water. Exactly. But this is kind of what the old system looks like, right? You have this big giant thing in the middle for your things, and like it's not like the greatest. What do you want to do to spice it up? So many things. So the first thing, of course, was I had to. So this UI, they're not even using Unity UI in here, even though it's in Unity. They built their system we built this system on like XNA framework, and so everything is like just bare metal UI. Big win of the year in Indie Sea of Stars. Have you tried it? The battle system's fun. It has lots of triggers. Don't trigger me, baby. Wait, you already know my opinions on that, right? Is that why you're saying this? Is that what you talked about? Sea of Stars? Like, obvious jealousy, but also just the fact that, like, no. I don't really like Sea of Stars. I like visually the game, but it feels really empty to me. And it's hard for me to get into. Because, like, I like worlds in which you can interact with things, and they don't really encourage exploration. It's just go through the story. And the feedback, the negative feedback I've heard really aligns with the thing that doesn't resonate with me, right? The story is, the characters are kind of wooden a little bit. Like, the two main characters are interchangeable, effectively. It's a beautiful game. It looks pretty. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying anyone should hate the game or anything. I personally just can't get into it. And if I'm going to spend my time playing a game, especially if I have time working on dev, I'm not going to spend my time playing Sea of Stars. It's beautiful. I didn't get past the tutorial. Is it you too? Turn-based, yuck. Oh, you don't like turn-based. Okay, well, let's see. I think that their introductory sequence is way too long. And it loses me. And I just couldn't get there. I couldn't get over the hump. My kid really got into it. Yeah, I mean, like, it's got a lot of real visual snap to it. And the battle system looks cute and interesting. But it just didn't scratch an itch for me. But I mean, I feel the same way about Chained Echoes, right? And maybe I'm just extremely biased because I'm working on an RPG and like I'm introducing elements that I would be more interested in. Although, frankly, I don't know if I'd want to do all the reading in this game, let alone, the other ones that kind of force dialogue. Because all these games force dialogue on you. They force like we try not to force it. We give people choices in what they say so at least they can get variety in their answers. But like a lot of these games, they like give you their sequencing as if you're watching a movie, and I don't watch movies with post captioning on. I don't want to like read 2 minutes of dialogue. It doesn't move me. I want to get moving, the new generation. Yeah, like listen, again, nothing's wrong. Sea of Stars sold a lot, and that's fantastic. To answer your question, you can feel me whenever you want, Dave. To answer your question, there's a couple things besides like visually trying to refine how the battles play. There's a couple components we want to make the battle system more interesting. Oh, even visual animations. Like, first off, the battle scene needs to spread out a little bit more. Like, the characters need to be back further. I want to do the Chrono Trigger style where when you attack with a melee character, it'll actually go up and attack, not just attack from the back. Like, right now they're really close, so it wouldn't look like they're doing it. But like if I attack there, the hermit didn't go all the way up to the character to hit it, right? It was just like a minor aesthetic, but I think it makes you feel it more if the characters actually interact with each other. And then we're going to introduce, in addition to having a burst system, which you can see the hermit has a burst ability here, we're going to introduce modified actions that your character can use, which will likely be upgraded over time, and will give you a way to balance what you're doing with your attacks and such. I mean, we're also adding, health bars, which obviously is necessary. People want to be able to see how much health your character has, or the character you're attacking has. for Dolian, for instance, Dolian might have an attack, or he might have a I'm not even sure what I would call it, but it's like an attack that does maximum damage or something. That's not good. Got a little swirly thing happen there. Oh, good. It crashed. Yeah, the way that we're setting this up is, I don't know why it crashed. The bestiary, even though people call it bestiary, it's spelled Bestiary. The bestiary gets populated when you first encounter a monster. So the first time you encounter a monster, you don't know what the monster's health is. After you defeat monsters, you'll know their health, but you won't know what their weaknesses are. So until you've used a skill or an action against a monster, you won't know what they're strong or weak for. So it's kind of a balance. I was against the idea of having health bars. My perspective was, when I was growing up, I didn't have health bars on monsters, so why should everyone else? But some, wiser heads prevailed and gave up on that notion that we wouldn't have health bars. But yeah, at least you have to fight the monster first, right? And that goes for bosses too. And because this game is designed or encourages players to go back and play as the other characters, since there are 3 characters you can choose from, there is a factor where if you fight a boss and then later with another character you fight the boss monster, you'll know what the health is of the monster. So the more you play the game, the more developed your bestiary becomes. It's not tied to your saves. It's persistent across all of your saves. I was working on a problem, though. What was I trying to do? I was trying to figure out how this stupid console was going to work, right? It's almost 11, though. My brain might stop working soon. And I have no idea what that crash was about. There's something in the battle system. Clearly, there must be a memory leak or something. The longer the battle goes, the more likely it'll crash. So, what is going on with this debug console? What is the problem here? Oh, I was thinking it was the size. So I wanted to find out what their prefab size was. Which is this thing right here. So they started with a 1920 by 1080, which is still the same aspect ratio, but the space that it covers is much larger. And I'm wondering if it was not suited for me to change it. I think that might be the reason. Like I might use rect. Well, I want to wreck my magnification. Wrecked it. Wrecked them. Nearly killed them. Okay. So let's see if this is, somewhat part of the problem. Even though the reference UI is actually technically smaller. If I make this the same. The reason I made it the same resolution as the game because I thought it would be appropriate that it fit the game res, but that might be messing with the sizing, like the hit boxes and stuff. Let's see what happens if I do this. This has errors. Oh, it's a graph panel. Okay, it's apparently not. I wonder, it could also be the resolution system. Let's see if we... go to settings, I guess. Frame turn off the CRT effect. See what happens. Nope, not it either. Kind of just throwing things against the wall to see if anything sticks. So it could be using screen paste. Okay, so let's try something different. We're gonna go a different route here. I think I can disable this and drag the console up here. So just this little one. Hey, Pixel Guardian. Quantum Console is made for Unity. Yeah. So we're going to add our console window. So again, we have a way to make it open or not. The only thing we're going to change here is for this to have my key command. If I had my own configs here, we'll call it custom key. Let's see if I just like use their default stuff, if it'll correct the problem. Enabled always, activate on startup, no. Initialize on startup, yes. Singleton. Okay. So let's try that. It could also be the auto scroll is causing an issue, but I don't think so. We've disabled the other one that I was messing with. So let's see if this, like... No. So we still have the same problem. I'd kind of hoped that maybe... Now, it is interesting that, like, this is never ending here. So, must have missed a step. My addition of the thing. But still not. That's still not the cause of the problem. Clearly, because if it was, I should have been able to like resize this or something, right? Okay. EFF indeed. I don't know what that means. Okay. So we'll turn our other one back on. It had nothing to do with the sizing. That's good. Good to know. It's something to do with the mouse. What is the resolution I need to do? It's... I really like the idea of making it fit the resolution of the game, though. Like, I just... I like the stylistic consistency of it. There's no value to it. It actually makes it harder when you use the console, but I really like it. I'm going to keep it that way. 960 by 540. I can always change it later. This is one of those problems I'll have to like beg Wallaber to help me figure it out. Made a good choice. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I like it. And by putting this inside of using my like canvas scaler and stuff, I can have the CRT effect on it. Great. All I need now is to get it to properly respond to mouse inputs. I appreciate that it's listening for key input. Dynamic canvas scalar script. It's dealing with the magnification and the zoom. On update, is that dirty? Doing a lot of math. Supposed to respond to mouse inputs? Yeah, it does respond to mouse. Well, theoretically it does. The interesting part, the thing that I was kind of like complaining about, is ostensibly it does respond to mouse input. So like I'm in here, and if I were to like click onto my editor and back here, I can I'm grabbed on to the scroll rect, but it's like the mouse isn't behaving. Yeah, I was gonna disable that too. I'm sorry, I should have done that. No. I mean, neither of those are affecting it. Clearly, still having the same problem. It would be kind of weird if their built-in functionality wasn't working. I always find the weirdest problems, Walliver. And they always end up taking so much time. And then we find the core. Okay, wait. Can I tell you all, though? Listen, I want to pause for just a sec. I know Walliver is being in helpful mode. Okay, wait. Maybe I should let him be helpful before I start talking about the problem myself. There's got to be something else in the code that is doing something with the mouse, causing it to behave oddly. There has to be. So like I could try to check their engine here and see what they're doing with the mouse. All they're doing is getting mouse input though. I don't think they're changing the mouse. Right, because this is just like a reader of mouse input. That cough, man. We have the mouse cursor manager. We have game input, which has mouse movement tracked. Literally the only places that track mouse movement. I don't think that was funny. I think Killboy's laughing because I'm like, I want to go tell you guys about a really stupid problem, but I don't want to stop looking at this problem because Walliver is paying attention and he might magically help me solve the problem. I'm the king of finding problems that are just dumb and unique. Warp mouse position command. None of those things should matter. So what else is here? So we also have our, what if I put this down to like the 960 by 540? Yeah, I know that's what you're, because this Killboy did a laugh track. I got it. I was saying why I thought Killboy said that. Okay, well, I've clearly stumped Wallaber, and
Thank you very much for the 777 biddies and telling me how much you love me through. Gross.
I'm going to show you all the stupid thing. Because I know Wallaber was like, hey, I'll help you. But then he's like, oh, it's a Mati problem. Okay. One of those dumb Mati problems. Okay, check this out. Check this out. When... let me see if I can find the actual... I need to find the text for it. This is more... You have to see the text to understand the problem. Where are these logs at? Here we go. Player log. All right. So I had a user, one user, single user, who was getting a black screen when the game started up. No earthly idea why. First time I've ever heard of anyone have this problem, but the person who paid for the game. And I was like, well, that's concerning. I've never seen that happen. And there was no indicators about the machine they were using. They said they had it set to English. Like there was no indicator why it wouldn't be working. And for like 2.5 to 3 weeks, I've been going back and forth with this person saying, here's another build. Here's more. I had to like find all these places. And what was happening was in the logs, it would hit this player connection cleanup statistics and stop. And there would be these like loading asset things, but that's just like, oh, it's just loading files, whatever, right? So I was like, well, that's probably not the problem. It looks like it might be some kind of graphics issue or something. So I spent time debugging the graphics issue, not a graphics issue. Finally, I did this verbose logging where these are all the items like battle commands and everything that gets loaded from the file system because Smile Game Builder, because they built it outside of Unity, they didn't use scriptable objects for their data. So they have to load these binary files and like load the scripts at runtime, which I imagine I can make the startup faster if I convert everything to scriptable objects, but that's an exercise in, pain and suffering because there's a lot of data. So it kept going and we get stuck on this loading item SGR thing. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I'm inside of the code. I'm in this catalog code. I don't know if anyone wants to hear about this bug, but I just have to share about this. It was so frustrating. And there's like stream, end of stream exception. Okay. So essentially the way they wrote this thing, I didn't realize it related to the game not loading for that one user. Yeah. No, not the console. The console issue is not at all related, but this problem was, yes. Not loading for one user. Never heard someone complain about this. And the way they load, they use a binary file and they just chunk it up and they put this like catch-all end of stream exception. They're like, okay, end of stream. We'll just continue. It's like they're using an exception as a way to proceed with code. It's absurd. It's absurd. And like, I get it. Like, okay, it works, right? But they're literally using exceptions. So there's like something that isn't quite formatted correctly, but doesn't break anything. It's okay. We can move on to the next thing. And it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I remember when Wallaber was helping with some Switch stuff, we kept seeing these end of stream exceptions and we determined it wasn't breaking anything. So don't mess with it. Right. And so I even went to the extent of making sure that the use case that would cause end of stream was caught and ignored, which it tries to load this missing ROM list. So whenever chunk size is 6 and signature, chunk size and signature are 6 and 1, it would cause this exception, right? Okay, I've solved the problem. The condition that breaks the game. I even put a comment in here. I gotta go clean up my comment. And I was like, this is it. I have solved the problem. No more problem. And the person sent me back, nope, still broken. Oh, what's going on? So like, then I had to go further up in the chain. And while I'm looking at this, I was like, what could be going on? I look at the loading assets and say, what the heck is going on with the I in item? That is not a normal I. See that? That's definitively not a standard eye. I sent a picture of it to the person saying, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on." The person's like, "Oh, that's a Turkish eye." Like, what do you mean? He's like, "Well, I bought my computer in Turkey," which and by the way, the person is really nice. This is nothing against them, just to be clear. But it was like I asked some standard questions like, "Well, is your computer a certain language, whatever?" But there is an underlying problem with computers that are constructed or used in certain locales, which is even if you set the language to English, the underlying system is still whatever place it's located at that you purchased it. And so this underlying system was in Turkish. So even though the person set their language to English, there's still like this. I mean, it's like Windows won't let me use Colmac permanently. Every once in a while, it switches me back to English. It's like, yo, you can't use Colmac. You got to use QWERTY. And so something in the loading process was causing the word item with an I to be converted to a Turkish I. Now, this is where Wallaber comes in. This is the amazing part. When Wallaber and I, in the early days, were talking about Unity, this is something I didn't really understand. I fully grok the problem now. When you do string manipulations, if you don't use an invariant method, invariant means don't change it for locale, it will convert in certain cases. It'll convert things based on the encoding. So they're in their file utility. So this is where things get a little crazy, right? Smile Game Builder has made their own utilities for things. And it was because this system was made ages ago and they had to make their own solution, right? So to do a string to lower, they were using system text regular expressions and they were doing replace for big AZ to smaller, right? But because this is not invariant during this conversion from big to little, when it hit the uppercase I and wanted to make it a lowercase I, it became a Turkish whatever character that was. And if you look in like how C# works, based on the installation on the computer and the language of the computer, it behaves differently. So all I had to do then was to fix it was to use to lower invariant. Fix the issue. This is irrelevant to the console issue we're having right now. But this is what one of my least favorite type of bugs. I call these the semicolon problems. And what it amounts to is any issue that you spend days upon days of trying to solve. That amounts to a single freaking character that you have to change. Now, I didn't have to change that one character. I had to change the code that created that character problem. But I would still maintain that I literally changed one line of code to fix this issue. And in like the PHP days and the JavaScript days, it would usually be a semicolon, like a semicolon was missing or something. Or it could be two lines that are just out of order. They're transposed. And looking at it, you wouldn't know that there was a problem, but you realize after like digging in, oh yeah, because this thing happens in a different order, that caused this thing, that caused that stuff to break. These type of problems are the worst problems in programming. It's not the ones where it breaks and you're like, oh, everything's so obviously broken. It's the ones where it just dies and you're like, what the frick is going on? And you have to scrutinize the code or the strings or whatever. Like, wait, that one string is not the right, it's not the right case or it's not the right whatever. So anyway, that was a fun, nasty one to solve. I have to presume this stupid one here is going to be something like, oh yeah, this thing's fighting with the UI. I mean, I do kind of wish I knew what was causing this, but it's clear it's not that the console's being filled up either. Because I wonder if I go into the game if I'll still have this issue. Oh, I lost my control. That's great. I don't like looking at the game without the CRT filter. I'm gonna turn that back on. I like the CRT filter. Fun. Gives me the look I like. Okay. So now here's a question. We're in game. Will it create the same problem? Yeah. Okay. So whatever is happening, it's ubiquitous. And so then it would mean that it has something to do with what's going on in this entry scene. Or again, it's something with the debug tool itself. What could be happening? Is there something in the entry? No, the controller. This is trying to, but this is all it's doing is returning values. It's not doing anything. Right? What is this doing? Set point. Oh, what is this doing? Get touch position or update point. This is only doing it if it's a touch system. We don't have. Let's see. I don't think that, like, we're not using touch, so I don't think that would cause it. Did I break something by commenting that out? No. There's something in writer. I'm gonna do some like cache clear or something. All right. So let's see. Mouse. What else do we do with the mouse? It's just using touch. Okay. The input system did not have anything. What else calls this? No. So it's not that. Something else going on that's weird. You go check out their. Go check out the QSF thing. Mouse. What the action changes map without. Yeah. Someone says, never mind, figure this out. In our input actions, we had enter toggling mouse cursor visibility. But I disabled the thing that would do that. Invisible UI image overlay used for fading. And it was set to raycast target. Okay. So, but I'm getting through to it is the problem. All right, let's see. So we do have this overlay. Does this overlay have raycaster? None. It could be the overlay, but I turned it off earlier and it still caused a problem. What about this one? This does not have a graph. Why does my screen effect? Why does my overlay have? I don't think I need this to have a raycaster. It could be there's just some stupid raycaster there blocking it. Let's see what other raycasters we might find. The UI camera should not have a canvas. do I set up? I don't even know what that stupid thing is. I swear this is just a garbage thing. We don't have a raycaster here anymore. The overlay never had one. I think it did. Resolution system? No. No. Any of these things block raycast? No. This has a canvas scaler, but I turned it off previously and it was still causing the problem. I also turned all these off and they also still had the problem. And they're lower in the hierarchy of things. That's 0. I could try to move the plane distance. No. Move them all away. It didn't seem to matter because I did disable the object. I didn't fix anything. Something weird's going on. Okay, is there something below it then? Maybe there's a canvas down here somewhere. I can't see around my camera. Uni ads? No. Templates. Maybe this isn't designed to work with the screen space camera. It can't be. That doesn't seem like it would be a problem. And make it pixel perfect. Is it? No. Making the plane closer, nothing. I don't know. No, Wallaber, don't you dare. I don't I don't know what I would prove. I guess it would prove whether it works in its own scene, I guess. Create scene. Ha! Oh, okay. Oh, there's no event system. That's part of the problem. Hold on a second. How do I add the event? And then we'll replace with the... Yeah, I want to use a new one. We'll let it use default input again. Scrolling works. It all works. So it's not the console. No one's gonna have this much problems with their console if they just plug it in, unless you have some crazy crap like I do. So what I could do is go steal the UI camera from my previous scene. Okay. I assume I can just steal the camera that was already there. Where is it? Here it is. I wanted to add it. Darn it. Okay, anyway. So we'll go to our UI. We'll go to our... I'll bet you I could just like copy these two things, right? What we'll do is we'll hide this. Paste this in. So we have a UI camera. It should still be using the UI camera. I'll disable my extra crap because it doesn't need to be used. So, how is it still doing... Oh, that's cute. We'll disable CRT effect. We're not introducing anything. Like, where is that coming from? Okay, so we have the camera set up. It looks like it's all working. The UI camera is there. Let's see that. This is how it should be working. So it works fine there. If I go to the camera and enable the CRT effect. Yeah, it doesn't work. Let's see. And that's not working at all. Okay. So if I go back to the... Whoa. Did we do something with the CRT? We'll save it where it's at. Now I'll go back here and I will disable the CRT camera. Completely disable it. Let's see if that makes the problem go away. No. Well, I think the CRT thing would be a problem in the context of this scene, because I think there's stuff in there that's like specific to let me go. I thought there's some things in here that might be dependent upon some internal stuff. Right, because we have our like blit and all that stuff. Okay. But I disabled it. So if I disabled the CRT effect and it worked, Are we getting any errors with this? We'll get some null references here. So that's probably a red herring, right? I mean, obviously, if there's errors happening, it's just not going to work. This is all bork. I don't think it can't be the CRT effect that's causing the problem. So we're not getting these errors. I mean, I could comment out things on the effect, but I just don't think that's. I should figure out how to confirm that. It does do some canvas scalar changes, but there's like make anything not work. It's funny. Tiny text, tiny text. It's a tiny. Look at the tiny little text. It's so cute. Really chunky right now. This doesn't show me the commands though. That's interesting. It's not even. Look at all the things you can do. I'm sorry, I'm totally distracted by not working on the problem. Demo robot kill all. Look at that. It generates a list of all commands added by the user. Oh, okay. Totally unrelated to solving this problem, but I think this might take a little bit more time to solve. I wanted to actually add some debug commands. The weird dynamic scalar thing is already there, I think. That's a good question. What was the script command or whatever you called it you used to push? It's called Steam command. Steam CMD. I think. This is not. I think this is like a. This is outdated. No, right one. Yeah, that's a dumb one. There's actually one on Steam. Steam community. Where is it? Here, uploading to Steam. Steamworks. This is where you want to go, right? This tells you all the things. Try. Oh, so the weird dynamic scalar. Sorry, is here. So that is on here already. Dynamic canvas scalar. It even has the same settings It's clearly not causing the problem. I could try to add my UI manager. I don't think it is dependent. We just add a create empty, and we'll add a UI manager to this. And put these things inside the UI. Oh, bollocks. I'm so upset right now. So let's take these things back out. Just copy this object. Close it. All right. So let's see what happens if I just move these around here. Steam pipe. All right. Right. Steam pipe. Now you have the actual documentation for it. So. What did I get here? Oh, I gotta get rid of the stupid. Okay. What? It's right there. There's an event system right here. Oh, how did I get turned off? I didn't disable that, did I? Oh, I think my UI manager is disabling it. Hold on. We just enable it. Let's see if it stays enabled. I think it defaults to disabled because of the way I had my startup working. Okay. Nope. So it's not my UI manager and it's not my window. I mean, the way that I set this up. Yeah, but what I had set it up, so I actually disabled that. So if I go into, and interestingly, I don't think I have that disabled logic turned on. Let's see if this works. All right. It'll work. So, Wallaber, first off, even with my thing turned off, so what I have is I actually made this console window, and when it opens up, it sets this like enable autofocus or disable autofocus. So in here, if it's enabled, in this update method, it'll just skip the updates, which is supposed to be the thing that like forces the focus. So it technically wouldn't be updating this when that console's open. And all this does is like it checks whether focus is lost and like refocuses it. UI Manager disables it by default when it starts up. I think. Because that's how I had the startup of the game set up, and I'm a dummy and I just put it straight into here. Because I didn't want, I can't remember why I did it. Whatever. Current. Where's it set here? Right here. Fade screen and load. I think this is part of like the, actually I don't remember why. Doesn't matter. That's irrelevant, because if this were the problem, we would be seeing that message and we wouldn't be able to do any interaction with it because it requires the event system. So that's not causing the problem. Like I should just have you jump on a phone call with me at 11:40. Well, for you it's 10:09, 9:40. Guest star Wallaber joining on the Discord, helping me fix my problems as usual in my life. I have some other problems in my life to fix if you'd like to join in on those. Here. The event system is enabled by the time we want to use it here. We go into here and look at the event system. It's enabled. First selected isn't set, but that shouldn't matter. And if I press this, we don't get that warning, right? Fine. I don't like this. I'm going to get rid of that because it's mudding the waters. We also know that stopped triggering once the console opens. So we kind of prove, I thought maybe the cursor placement thing was also part of the problem, and it's not part of the problem because we effectively proved that's not the case. So it either has to be some other object in this scene or something that Smile Game Builder is doing with their garbage. Base input is part of the event system itself. I already looked at base input. So if I go into, I'll do the cleaner version here. This loads faster. Why is it not? That's interesting. No reference. So let me just turn that off so it stops causing that error message. So event system. Yeah, where is that? Where does... This doesn't have base input either, though. Oh, there you go. So it got added when I actually did something. But it's part of Unity Engine. The Unity Engine's adding that. And more importantly, it didn't break this. Right? It's very chunky, but yeah, indeed. Cursor lock behavior outside of screen. Yeah, that means where it gets locked. Deselect on background click. That's also kind of interesting. Not that it's affecting anything. I could make this, I could try to make this use my game input and see if that causes a problem. Wallaber. I just I switched it to use this game input and it borked. Which to me means there's going to be something in here. Hold on a second. There's gonna be a mouse There's gonna be like multiple things that are using mouse probably. How do I find that though? Or there is no click. Here's... What is it though? What is causing it? So the problem is, I think. Let's just leave this here. That the event system is using default. Changes my game input. Left click. Okay, middle click, right click, scroll wheel, move, UI navigate. So how do we do mouse move? Let's see. The part of the problem is, I think, if I go back to their default input actions here. I think this is me trying to left stick look. Middle click, right click. Track device position. Navigate. How does it do mouse movement? Point. I don't know if I have a point. Do I? Let's see. Yeah. Do I not have this tied to mouse? There's something in here that's causing this, right? So using this game input, something is done goof. But it still works, which means there's like fighting. There's mouse movements, and then there's point. I don't think the other one had mouse movement. Delta mouse versus point. Let me see here. Track orientation. This isn't. Oh, here's point. Point is right there. Okay. What did it do with this one? I'm fairly certain when I made this, I actually copied it. Okay. Yeah, I thought I copied it off of what was here. Just because I don't want to like try to remember this. Little copy paste. All right, we'll save that over here for a second. I switch this to game input. Doesn't matter. So they're legitimately the same. Nothing about these selections are different. Submit, move, scroll wheel. Why would it behave differently? Let me see here. No. Is there... Can I open this in a different window? Near each other. Navigate does not have any mouse. Submit. The bit just says any for this one, but I don't think that matters, does it? Cancel. Point. I'm pretty sure I did not do a lot here, except for the fact that point has position and delta. I don't know how I managed that one. Okay. Let's see if I did anything else like that. Click is fine. Scroll wheel is fine. Middle click. Right click. Track device. I don't think that really matters, but now I added console. And I also added mouse movement. Although I'm not sure why I did that. But this shouldn't matter unless I'm actually like using it for something. Okay. So save asset. See, we got. See, look at Wallaber knows how to solve problems. I look at stuff and my brain just goes, bleh. Wallaber's like, oh, just, fix it. Fine. Stop being a big baby, Mossy. If Wallaber and I were to work together with his brains and his brains, man, anything's possible. Wallaber with your brains and your brains. Okay, so this might work? Question mark. Let me see if I have do I have the event system on? Okay. Good. Null reference. What was this about? Shoot. I need to re-enable the event system. What are we getting a null reference on? Oh, I gotta go to the table. Okay. There you go. That's all it was. That's stupid. That's so dumb. This is the story of my life right now. Oh God, it would be so great if there was some sort of. It's one of those things where it's like, you just gotta know. You just gotta know how to be smart and make your stuff smart. Just do the smart thing. Yeah, Wallaber, thank you. This is literally not a code problem at all. I should go back and undo my stupid controller code change. It doesn't matter anymore. Come on, mouse. You got it. No. Why are you stuck? Okay. Okay, now. This is me doing diagrams. Publish. Come on. You can do it. No, we can just. We don't have to worry about this stuff. Go back to what we were doing. Just crash writer. Perfect. Writer was not happy with that. End task with extreme prejudice. All right, let's see if it works. A good ending. See, with Wallaber, what you get, the quality you get with Wallaber is you get guaranteed that at the end of his stream, he'll have solved every problem imaginable. I typically leave my stream without solving problems. So. Am I using the right one though? Did I? That was not my UI. Let me go back here. Get rid of that. And then did I turn off the CRT effect here? Yeah. Turn it back on. Walliver's got tenacity. I'm going to stay here until it's solved. I mean, I did stay here until it's solved. But I stayed here until Walliver helped me figure out how to solve my problem. Okay. Look at that. It workies. I wonder if like the plus and minus. Oh, it does. Yeah. Ah, feels good. All right, well that's good. It works. Look, there's a start coroutine command. What is teleport? Teleport's a game object. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to like disable all of these things. Demo gate opened. Yeah, neat. All macros. Anyway, there you go. Function UI. All you have to do, the only thing you have to do is make sure that your input system has the right controlling configuration. That's it. Piece of cake. I mean, anyone worth their salt would look at this problem and be like, oh yeah, it's clearly an input system issue because your input's fighting with itself. Clearly. I'm stopping there. This is like... I have these days where I solve a lot of problems at once. I feel so good about myself. And then I have days like this where I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I spent more than half my stream trying to figure that out. But shout out to Walliver for his tenacious D behavior. Making sure that I solve my problems. Like, no, Matsu, you will solve this problem. Never give up. Never surrender. No, you are instrumental to the solving of this problem, all of it. Instrumental, I say. Who should I raid? I don't see anybody coding. Yes, it is usually how that works. It's not. No lies will be had. You always got to bounce your ideas off of other people for sure. There's people doing API endpoints. Rust or bust. No, thank you. MMO game dev. Team Vash. I don't know why I always have to raid, but it's just what I do, you know? Coding with strangers. Are you all strangers right now? He's coding. And they're strangers. We're all coding with them. The strangers. Let's go see coding with strangers. Look, nice guy. I think he looks like he's got a microphone. Always risky. All right, well, Walliver, thank you so much for your help. It was helpful. You make me get work done. That's what's important. You all have a lovely holiday for those who celebrate. And for those who don't, have a lovely week. I should be back on Tuesday. And I should have a console working. So who knows what I'm going to stream. That's a nice streamer to get a raid. Oh, okay, good. Well, then we're going to go say hi. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Bye. Good. GG's indeed, Walliver. Thank you so much.